Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Well, the Russian lunar mission failed, or at least partially failed, because their little craft crashed into the moon instead of having a soft landing. Well, that's an insuccess for, I would say, science and for humanity, as let's say would be American crew landing on the moon. The whole world will obviously, feel sad about it, and there would be a tragedy. And I'm assuming that any normal human being would, you know, be upset about it. It's not a success. So even though they are your enemies, let's put it this way, or not your partners, you look at it as an insuccess. And maybe in the name of science, you would like that to succeed, even though they, let's say, are your enemies. And I'm talking about, let's say, the moon landing by the Americans, right? The Soviets, I'm assuming they celebrated on one hand, and on one hand, probably they were like, I hope these guys fail. But why? Because they're our enemies. But people, normal people, would say, well, it would be a success for all of us, for the humanity, for scientific world to learn to understand what's going on. Well, that's not so here in this case. So the Russians failed, as I said, to land soft land on the moon. Not the Russians, but their equipment. And we have Reuters, which is, as far as I know, an American outlet, right? Is reporting this with glee and with hatred, I would say, which they're entitled to, but they also lose any impartiality that might have claimed. All right, they're not impartial whatsoever. And I have here four media outlets reporting this, and I'm going to read you the excerpts from each to show you how Reuters is happy about it. Is happy that the Russians, by using words, and I'm going to read the words so you can see how the American mass media, or at least Reuters, is happy about the scientific insuccess of competitors. Well, it's a competitor, but I would like to know. So you have to deal with this kind of free media, right? They tell us the free world media versus the other ones. All right, so let's start with Reuters, which I think is garbage in this case. So Reuters, this is from August 20th, 2023. Remember, words have meaning. So synonyms and euphemisms, matter here. Russia's first lunar mission in 47 years smashes into the moon in failure. You already understand that this word could have been used, I don't know, crashes and successful or something. No, smashes and a failure. All right, well, is that reality? It is reality. The problem is you can make it be more grotesque, or you can, just report it with a balanced semantics. I don't think that's balanced. I think but it's not all. Wait a second, I have more. And you'll see how the Russians report it. Oh, the Russians, probably they will say it's not a failure. No, they use different terms. And the Ukrainians, even the Ukrainians are going to be more balanced than the free world. So, here it is. Read this four bullets. Russia moon mission fails. Okay, we got that. Luna 25 crashes into the moon. Over there was crash, okay. Failure is a blow to Russian space prestige. Soviet space veteran. Luna 25 was my last hope. So these things right here already is like, you are dumb as fuck. And it's not all. Russia's first moon mission in 47 years failed when its Luna 25 spacecraft spun out of control and crashed into the moon after a problem preparing for pre-landing orbit. All this is true, but I guess I don't have to point the terms they use, the words they choose It's all bad, bad, bad. Underscoring, again, the post-Soviet decline and once mighty space program. So they take a dump on current Russia whatsoever, right? I would say, just read the first sentence here, or the first paragraph, including these 3 bullets here. I ignore the fourth one. And you put it together with this. Smashes and failure. Okay, well, that's accurate. That's accurate. But let's see how, for instance, even the Ukrainians are reporting it. And the Ukrainians are really, really, really Russia's enemies, aren't they? We are supposed to believe. Ukrainska Pravda. Russian space station crashes into moon week after takeoff. It says here that Roscosmos has reported that the Luna 25 space station collided with the moon and ceased to exist. Now, collided is the opposite of smashes. I mean, it's a milder term, don't you think? Sometimes things collide by mistake, but smashing could be by mistake. But I don't have to explain out the semantics. It's clear it's a difference in intensity. The Russians said that the station went into a non-calculated orbit, collided with the moon, and ceased to exist. Well, that's nice euphemistic talk, but anyway. On Saturday, the Russians reported that an emergency situation has occurred without specifying what it was. Luna 25 was scheduled to land on Earth satellite on 21st of August. And it says here that this thing, was launched from Cosmodrome. The landing site was an area in the south polar region of the moon where signs of water ice were found. So I would like to know more. The previous mission, Luna 24, was launched in 1976 and delivered 170 grams of lunar soil to the Earth. This is the Ukrainians, the enemies of the Russians currently, supposedly. And they reported, I would say, balanced and objectively. Maybe milder. And these guys, Reuters, how did they do it? Anyway, let's go to the Russians, just the title, obviously. Russian probe crashes into moon. This is what happened. The accident occurred after a Luna 25 switched to an incorrect orbit. So it's a failure, but they don't have to portray it like that. But it's up to each media outlet to pick its own words. And we have the right to analyze it and obviously judge, which I always do because I have values and principles. Russia's space agency says, okay, we got that one and we got this one here, which is, I think, a little bit more weasel title. Sputnik Luna 25 station collided with moon, like they just met in space. All right. The reason why I made this video is to show you, with that kind of reporting and glee coming from Reuters, as a Russian scientist, as a Russian regular citizen, commoner, what would you think? Those are my friends, my partners? Is that the free world we want to be like? No, definitely not. Definitely not. I'm not saying to hide reality, but I don't have to overemphasize again and again and again that those words this guy speak in the title, first 3 bullets and the first paragraph are just you losers, you losers, you losers, ha ha ha. Now imagine, let's say, remember the Challenger, whatever it was, exploded. I can remember when I was a child and I watched it. I think younger, let's put it this way. When it exploded at takeoff and so on, do you think that the Russians celebrated? Yeah, there were some idiots probably celebrating that because idiots will be always idiots, or dark hearts and so on. But if you look at it, okay, they're your competitors. Maybe they are your enemies, but they're human beings. Are they guilty of anything? And it's a name of science. Yeah, they would probably help the Russians establish over there a little thing on the moon. What can you do? You do something better. You don't cut the legs of these guys to show it's like leveling. If someone tries to get up, you cut his leg to fall down at your level. Now, when was the last time the Americans sent something on the moon? Anyway, I mean, this is the progress, not trying to undermine each other. It's trying to outpace, outrun do, or how do you call it, be better than the other side. That's how we progress. Otherwise, I destroy you, I destroy you. That's a cultural thing from where I come from. Trying to make everybody, make sure that people fail, so you're not a failure. And here too, this is a mark of infantility. You're infantile doing this. Anyway, instead of saying, what, good job, man, you're my, like in sports, what do you want to do? Let's say you want to compete. I want to compete against the best. I want to be fit when I fight you. I want to be the best, because they're going to challenge me and it's going to tell me my level. I'm not going to say, well, I hope he gets sick and before the fight, and then I win, I get the gold medal. Like that? Yes, exactly like that. There's exactly like that when these guys are saying, well, the Russians and the Belarusians athletes should not compete in the Olympics. So you can win? Yes. But they don't say that. They say, well, no, they should not, because they're connected with that and they're, okay? That's weasel. I've been through that in my life, in my competitive years, when you had people that they want to win regardless. They hope you're trained with rack and you don't show up. And I had a lot of experience. I will not discuss it in more details here, but I had my own. I hope you had it, but you overcame that. So you became better. You learned out of that. But I hope it didn't affect you that much that destroyed a portion of your life, or maybe more than that, by affecting your psyche and so on, your attitude towards life and human beings in general. Obviously, you don't like it, but the point is you have to overcome that, become better, come back stronger. So here the same. These guys are gleeing that the Russians failed and they smashed on the moon. All right, now you know exactly who you're dealing with. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, for the truth, and be just. Even the Ukrainians, I think the Ukrainians were the most objective of the two sides here, of the Russians, and actually Reuters should not be on any side. Reuters should be in between. How should I put it? Impartial, but they're not. All right. Thank you very much for being with me again today. See you next time.